Welcome into the crypto bunker. Um, Today, I just wanted to start out by kind of setting a mood, a chill mood. Um, we're going to talk about Ethereum. We're going to talk about the use cases of Ethereum and why you should be okay with a crash because all of the fundamentals are still there. But before we do that, let's light some sage to get that chill vibe going. And put that over here. But what I wanted to say first is that the Ethereum Beacon Chain network now has over 400,000 validators. So in the latest data from Ethereum's official website, the number of validators on the Beacon Chain has exceeded 400,000. So the amount of ETH pledged to the network has reached 13,423,000 ETH. And that's about $20 billion of ETH. So that's about 11% of the current market cap of Ethereum. So I did just want to say that because I do think in these times, we need to look at sort of the fundamentals, like I said, of the chain. The fundamental growth of the chain, it matters. The use cases of Ethereum matter. The talent, okay, all of the talented people that are coming over to Web3. Web3 is Ethereum. Okay, so in these tumultuous bear market times, you can stack something like Ethereum because the network is built to never go down, to not get hacked, to secure billions of dollars of real world value, of real estate, of art, of physical assets, of digital assets, of banking assets, financial assets, bonds. There's so many, countries that Ethereum is working with. There's so many banks that Ethereum is working with currently that it's securing all of that value on the blockchain. So all of these people know the value of Ethereum. They know the value of the blockchain. And we can look at that in times like these and understand that the fundamental value is still high. And you'll hear a lot of people on Twitter or the people in the news talk about Ethereum and talk about crypto like it's over, it's crashing. They're talking about the price, but they're not actually understanding the fundamental value. And this happens to a lot of gold and silver bugs as well. And I personally made a mistake. I did sell some of my gold to buy into Ethereum at 1700. And obviously that didn't work out perfectly. Let's dive into the charts. What I wanted to show obviously is this is what a capitulation looks like. Okay, so this is a monthly chart of Ethereum on the all-time chart, and we have monthly SMA support down here at around 1150, like I've been saying for a couple months now. That we do have that support there. We close these this monthly candle on the all-time high around that level. We do have this SMA line. We have this trend line that sort of was the start of the bull run. And, we obviously have other trend lines that come in lower than that. But for me, my base case is definitely around 1100. I think we could rally back up from there. Whether that's a complacency leg or, whatever. I do think that after a crash like this, there does seem to, I think it takes a lot of time to clean this up. I do think it's going to take, I mean, it's hard to say because the merge is so important. And, everything that Ethereum is doing in the world is so important. So it's hard to say, oh, this is going to take multiple years. But it could, I mean, we never really have seen a capitulation like this, even down here. I mean, you look at the monthly candles. Obviously, we had these two monthlies that look like this. We then had this rally that looked like this. But then we have these three straight down candles. And in here, it was sort of a gradual down. Okay. So what I think is possible is that we have these shorter periods of bear markets potentially. The only thing is that the stock market itself looks like it wants to be in a longer term bear market, recession potentially for the economy. So it is possible that we go into a longer term bear market. And I guess, what I wanted to show is that this is what happened to Microsoft in 2000. Okay. So we're looking at Microsoft in 2000 on the weekly chart. And we can see that, we actually crashed 73% from peak to trough here with the final capitulation, which would bring us to around $1,200 for Ethereum. And that's kind of where my base case is. So it's interesting that this took 9 years to play out. Okay. So am I necessarily saying that this is going to take 9 years? I'm not. But I'm saying that it's possible. And look at the people who were in Microsoft through this period, right? How many people do you think got shaken out through here and were just like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. Final capitulation. They're like, I'm done with this. It's over. We're going to zero. And then we know what happened from there, right? I mean, this is what happened from there, up only forever, into the clouds, right? And then that becomes a faint, distant past story of the people who are able to hold for those 10 years. And I think that crypto is sort of a faster moving market. And that's why I think we're pricing in a lot of this stuff already. But it's not impossible. And there will be many people who do not want to sit here for 8 years. Okay. So if it becomes this sort of boring sideways chop, I mean, this is the worst thing you could ever even imagine. I mean, look at that. But you would be the richest person in the world, or one of the richest, if you were accumulating this entire time and you just waited the whole time. You could have also accumulated cash and then bought the final capitulation. So we can look at Ethereum on the weekly as well. We have that weekly SMA there as well. So a lot of things line up. Obviously, we're touching previous all-time highs here, which I personally, when I was in leverage like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 10 months ago, I would never have guessed that we could go down this low. And I remember setting my leverage liquidation ratios to be around like 1350, because I was like, okay, if we touch the all-time high, we're going to catch mad support there. And then we probably won't go below that. But now it looks like we can go below that. So it's scary. I'm glad I got out. I'm very thankful. So be grateful for, the things that you have. And hopefully some of you guys followed me out and were able to capitalize on this. Like I said, I obviously sold before this massive blow off. We did hit the 1.34 mark that I was looking for. So congrats to anyone who's still in this. I doubt anyone is. It's hard to know exactly when to time these things. I am still more in gold and silver than Ethereum. I do think that we're in a gold and silver bull market. And I did want to cover that really quickly because this silver chart actually looks very similar to the ETH chart. And I just wanted to show this fractal because I think it's really important. And to know, the potential of where you could outperform everyone who's sitting in crypto. Or you could do both like I'm doing. You can really kind of play this in any way that you want. But if we're looking at Ethereum here, I wanted to look at it on the daily actually, because I think that crypto moves a lot faster, like I said. And, this is where I think we are in silver. And you can see this is the same exact chart. So anyone who, understands fractals in charts, you can see like it literally does. I've said this like, before, maybe like 12 months ago, but you can see like the deadly similarity. It's really crazy. The massive blow off top, and then you have, I mean, almost every little move in between, even this and this, are actually look exactly the same. Like these two things, you can see them here and here. And then you saw pretty much the same thing we're seeing here in this bull flag formation here. So it's really interesting. We obviously, like, we crashed down back to, to these levels sort of. So it's not totally the same in this area. But it is very interesting to know that from here we did a 10x in Ethereum. And so could we do a 10x in silver? I do think that we can. And I'll show that on the trend-based fib extension here. If we go from this low to this high and then draw it out like this, okay, and then we put that bottom in there, we can see that our target is around $80, and that's my base case target for silver. But again, the top is around that $200. Okay, so we do see the potential for a blow off top here. And, I personally, not financial advice, but I am a large shareholder, not large, I guess, but pretty big shareholder in this little tiny stock. It's called BlackRock Silver. They are reforming one of the best American silver mines in history in Nevada. Basically, what happened is, back in the day when there was a gold rush, this silver and gold mine was putting out a bunch of ounces. And once that bubble sort of crashed during the Depression, people just kind of left that mine and no one really ever came back to it. But it has been rediscovered, and BlackRock Silver is the company that's taking that over. It's only like a $95 million market cap, and I do think that obviously, in a run to $80 silver, we're definitely looking at the potential for a 10x, probably even more. But yeah, like the top range for this is around $5, which is a 10x. So I am buying down here. We're down like 50% from the highs. And, I think we kind of completed this retracement. We obviously filled the gap here. We saw like it's just a CME gap, classic fill, short cover. And now we're sort of waiting on these bigger major caps to move, which we are getting. We got the GDX to start moving here. And we're seeing the possibility of a blow up here. Sorry about all the lines, and obviously didn't want to throw all these in there, but you can see gold. This was like something I was thinking was possible. But this is sort of the scenario we're in, that the Fed is losing control, and the Fed cannot control inflation with interest rates. So they're going to crash the markets, and they're going to crash the bond markets. So where do you put your money? And everything around you in real goods is going down. So that's really the primary case for gold, in my opinion. So just something to watch out for. We're looking at the gold to silver ratio. It looks like maybe we're making a lower high here, and maybe we can crash down from here. I do think that this thing on the all-time, we could look at this as a massive bear flag. And what we're seeing on that bear flag target is around 42 on the gold to silver ratio. So I'm overweight silver. At least I try to be in terms of my metal. Gold, holding gold metal, it's not necessarily going to make you rich. It's more of like a savings account. For me, it was a trade from ETH to gold back to ETH, and I made like 100% gain on that. And so I was pretty happy with that. And, obviously still have some, but there are certain, physical gold that you would never want to sell, like your American gold eagles. Those are currencies. Those can never be confiscated. Gold bullion and silver bullion can. Silver eagles cannot. So we can get that in there. Yeah. So silver eagles, American silver eagles can't but you know, you have bullion might be able to be confiscated. Um, so that's something to know. But it's again, this is a bear market for crypto. And I did want to show another stock. This is Oracle, which I think is actually interesting to compare to something like Chainlink, maybe, because Chainlink is an Oracle service. I know it's not the same thing. They're just called Oracle. They're not necessarily like exactly an Oracle. Um, this went down 85%. This chart actually looks even more similar to like ETH to me than Microsoft, because we went from the top to this one bottomed out almost right away, and then basically just went sideways again for, you know, kind of just sideways and up for a long time. Never really even blew off until now. So it is kind of a cool chart to look at and compare to Ethereum. Obviously, if Ethereum went down as much as this did, within these, you know, multiple years, it would go down to $720, which I would, you know, I wouldn't throw it past ETH to do that necessarily. So just want to throw out there that like anything's possible. We do see a target in here around 800 of this trend line from the bottom here to this to the, I mean, it has a lot of points. So I really wouldn't be surprised. There's also support down here at around $400, worst case. So, you know, it is pretty crazy. I mean, we can look at it even on the daily and see how this has sort of just capitulated now. It's not a full capitulation. This isn't March 2020 yet. I do think we have more room to run. So again, hopefully you guys got something out of the video. I mean, we're looking at like some of these other charts like Polkadot. Again, 550 target for Polkadot. I think I have around a $4 target for Chainlink, and it's like a random, you know, coin to throw out there. Definitely like, again, doesn't this kind of look like that chart that we showed a little bit of Oracle? I mean, it'll make a round trip for sure. I think back to 380, which is funny because that's like where I was buying it originally in 2020. And then we could go sideways for a while, right? And then we could, you know, I mean, this could take a couple years because this is a lot to clean up at this point. You know, we broke this trend line on Aave, you know, Curve is crashing to the ground. I mean, there's a lot of damage. Matic, obviously. I don't know what I have this target down here around 30 cents, I think. So again, a lot of these coins, like it's pretty crazy to even see like like YGG, like was one of the ones I was looking at. I look at IMX as well. That's at 75 cents. That one I think could go to 42 cents. Basically, it'll just go back to where it opened probably eventually, which is like 20 cents. But what I want to say is that we're in a bear market, and for me, I feel the safest in ETH. I know for a fact that ETH will keep growing. I know that ETH will basically, I know that the development that's happening on ETH, I know the talent, the developers, the, you know, the tech, the use case. I mean, all the companies that are getting into Web3, that is basically Ethereum. I don't look at any other chain in a bear market to be attractive because you just don't know. It's too much of a risk, and the upside on ETH is too great with the merge coming. So for me, I would personally, not financial advice, be looking to just accumulate Ethereum and not anything else at this point. You can eventually switch that back when you have more confirmation that we could be going into a bull run. And we sit here and we're putting in new lows right as I speak. We are actually testing the support on the daily here. Look at this. This is where I never really thought we could get back to it. But here we are. We're touching it right now. That is so crazy. We are touching the previous all-time high from 2017, 1440. Wow, that is, it's shocking, guys. I'm with you. But we can get through this regardless of what happens. I believe everyone should have exposure to crypto. The upside is too great. I do believe that this is a new wave of innovation that will allow ownership, property rights, digital currencies that are going to be coming out. But to actually get to that point where we go through a great reset, you definitely want to make sure that you have gold and silver, you have gold and silver miners exposure, you have food storables, you have a garden growing, you have preparatory items in case of different scenarios that could play out in the geopolitical situation. So there's a lot to think about, but there's also a lot to be optimistic about. So I want to highlight that regardless of what happens here, we could go down another 50% here on ETH. I'm in this for the long term in terms of Ethereum. I do believe that Ethereum will scale to global ubiquity and is a global neutral blockchain that will power the next wave of innovation for millennials, Gen Z, Zoomers, all the different new generations that have come up and are going to want to own digital assets. And even if they don't, there will be real world use cases. Real estate, I think, could be on the blockchain. Tokenization of houses is going to be massive because people aren't going to be able to afford houses, right? So look at it as a great opportunity to accumulate. Look at this as an opportunity to go grind and do some Uber Eats every day for, as much as you possibly can for, the rest of until we get out of this bear market, because that's what I did in 2020. And obviously it paid off for me. So that was a shorter term thing. This could be longer term. I don't know. But I'm optimistic. I think that the technology's there. Like I said, the developers are there. We have $20 billion staked, which again is, that itself, right? That itself is 11%. So if we go down 90% from here, we know that money can't really come out until like probably a year from now. Most likely we'll be able to move our staked ETH from wherever we have it. So any accumulation that I make here, I'm probably not going to stake it right away. I am actually ultimately trying to get to 32 Ethereum because with 32 ETH, you can be your own validator. And in the future, I believe that Ethereum will be the risk-free rate for Web3 and for the economy. I think that countries will stake Ethereum. I think businesses will stake Ethereum because why would you not? You need it already anyway if you're selling digital assets or digital tokens to people, and you're also, basically your own central bank. All you need is the internet, and you're able to basically run your node, and on your home computer, you'll be able to earn, 15% on your Ethereum. And I just think that that's amazing. I think that eventually will lead to financial freedom for some people. So if we can get lucky enough to, be able to accumulate these things for that long, we probably can get to 32 ETH. I know that I'm like almost a third of the way there. So I feel like if we can bounce around these $1,000 levels for another year or two, I will be able to get there. So I hope. So it's not easy, but I am hoping to do that. And again, guys, own physical wealth in your hand as well. Okay, don't underestimate these. Especially in the future, you never know what's going to happen. And this is like your insurance policy. You don't want to have all your money on the internet or on the blockchain or on a screen. You want to have wealth that's in your hand that you're able to, hold, and that it has value. Obviously, silver with the Defense Act coming in for Biden, he's basically saying we're going to demand that we're basically going to demand that people have solar panels, that we're going to, you know, go into this EV world, and all of that, you know, requires silver. So understand that, you know, each solar panel requires like 0.6 ounces of silver. So if you own the silver, you know, you own basically what they need to build these solar panels. So you know for a fact that you have value. You know that this is what's going to be used in the future to build things that people need, right? You know that for a fact. Okay. And you can sleep well at night knowing that you have something that no matter what happens, you know, is something that we're going to push towards. So again, hopefully you guys got something out of the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a great day.